Steve, I don't know if I told you I was going to ask you this, but I think you can. I want to play you the Draymond Green clip where he's a white ref put a hand in his face, and that's a bridge too far. Let's play Draymond
I
Green.
will tell you though, I find it very ironic that I got a technical foul for telling a Caucasian referee not to put his hand in my face. As a black man in America, don't put your hand in my face. And I said, hey, don't put your hand in my face, and I got a tech. So I thought that was the most interesting thing of the night.
Did he try to
Next
explain
to my
himself?
bobblehead. He said, Draymond, this is your chance to stop talking to me, bro. Don't put your hand in my face. Oh, tech. Oh, okay. So, everybody want to talk about holding the line of respect. That line need to be held both ways. So if the line won't be held both ways, then the line won't be held from my way either, because we all men.
Right.
And we all can make decisions and choices. So, well, let that be the last time that happened.
There's Draymond Green going full blown ghetto black woman. Don't put your hand in my face. Don't you put your hand in my face. That's. I'm not a Draymond fan.
I'm just telling you one thing right now. He's lucky that he never had to be refereed by Earl Strom or Daryl Garrettson. Well, was he in the league? Was he in the league with Steve Javie at any time? That would have been interesting. Here's the thing, then. So what he did to Jordan Poole, is that black on black crime?
He put his hand in Jordan Poole's face.
Oh, he got all up in his face. He got in his face. I mean, wow.
Yeah. I'm just telling this whole. And again, I'm not into it, but when did putting your hand into someone's face, when did that become racialized? Was there a scene in Roots where Massa Reynolds put his hand in Kunta Kinte's face or Fiddler's face? Did I forget that? Or when is there some long tradition of white racists putting their hands in black people's face?
Not that I know of, but again, let's look at the history. Draymond Green is the guy that said the word owner is racist, and now everyone calls them governors. This is what happens when we allow dumb jocks to act. Look, they're allowed to have their say, but at what point did my comments have to be taken seriously? Everything should have been kind of like snickered out of it. That's the biggest issue with the NBA media, though. They allow Doc Rivers to bloviate, and nobody pushes back at all.
Well, that's a good segue because someone did push back against Steve Kerr. An Outkick reporter went to a press conference and got Steve Kerr basically to apologize for the misinformation he was spreading about ICE. Let's play Steve Kerr.
Andrew from Outkick.com. So going back to the situation in Minneapolis and some of the comments that were made there. So I know you had mentioned that, ICE isn't rooting out violent criminals, but is instead taking 5-year-olds. Since we know that ICE has indeed arrested violent criminals, and perhaps some of those statements can be seen as misinformed or possibly divisive, what would you say to that?
You're right. I definitely misspoke, and I knew that ICE was arresting some criminals, and I think I immediately regretted it because I knew that to be the case. But my point is that they're also arresting people and detaining citizens and people who should not be being detained. And the manner in which they're doing it, and as you see, is riling everybody up all over the country. And being in Minneapolis for those 4 days was incredibly emotional and powerful. And it was a very difficult time for all of us. So we... at the end of those 4 days, pretty emotional time. I misspoke, and so I apologize for the misinformation. So I hope everybody else out there who's saying stuff that's not true, please apologize too. All right, let's talk about basketball.
You did highlight that
I addressed everything I wanted to address in Minneapolis, but I am glad you said that because that was false, what I said. And so I want to correct that for the record. So thank you.
He blew it at the end with his little condescending. Let's get back to talking basketball.
I just want to shut up and dribble.
Yeah.
I just want to shut up and dribble.
Yeah. And he blew it at the end. Got condescending. He's the one that brought the conversation up, the ICE whole deal, and now he wants to put parameters on how he'll be questioned about it.
Well, your old colleagues are at Outkick. I don't think they'll be getting NBA credentials anymore. And if they're lucky, they won't be getting any WNBA credentials. But anyway, couple things, though, about Steve Kerr. Those 4 days in Minneapolis, was he out there or something? I assume he was in that hotel, motel, Holiday Inn's luxury suite. Like, what was he really doing? Was it really jarring? Were you looking down from your 30th?
Very emotional.
30th level suite? Ordering room service? I mean, was it really that emotional, looking out the window, then getting bused to the game, and then getting a police escort back, and then you get a chartered flight? Well, it was really emotional about it. But this is the point that I keep making. And I give the reporter credit, whoever that was, he just asked a question. And we know what side of the fence he's on, to be fair, to be very honest about it. But he said, hey, wait a minute. Let me just push back a little bit, and I'll give you a chance to rebut. They don't want that. And I guess now Bobby Burak is trying to get credentials. Bobby, I like you. You're never getting them. Trust me. Now, the bad news is you won't be able to get your questions off. The good news is you don't have to watch the NBA.
I'm not so sure, because I was shocked that this question slipped through the net or, got past the goalie or whatever. But maybe it got through and got by because they wanted to. Maybe the NBA, because Steve Kerr seemed prepared to me with the apology or what. If he were completely caught off guard, I don't think he would have gone to, I misspoke there. I was misinformation. I think he was prepared. Someone, hey, there's an Outkick, it's got a credential. They're probably going to ask you about this. And Steve had a prepared answer.
Wasn't he surprised a couple of years ago when someone asked him, well, why aren't you protesting this but not that? And he's like, I remember that. But, Steve Kerr loves to talk about Second Amendment rights, except when it comes to the cities that he makes road trips in. These are the things that are maddening about guys like Steve Kerr.
I love the fact that this question got in, and it will probably make them a tiny bit more reluctant to make these statements because they're opening themselves up for questions like this, and I don't think he wants to have to run around and apologize for all the stupid things he says. Steve, final topic, but this is a topic I'm interested in. Kendrick Perkins, and I think you would be too. Kendrick Perkins has basically apologized for criticizing Joel Embiid. And then we'll play that, and then I want to connect it to, is it Austin Rivers, Doc Rivers' son?
Yes.
That basically has stepped away from podcasting because he's like, man, this whole thing's toxic, and you're forced to say negative things, and people get all sensitive about it. But I'm looking at Kendrick Perkins apologize, and I just go back to, again, these athletes think they want to be in the media, but they really don't. They don't want the blowback. They want to make sure they're invited to the cookout or to the strip club or whatever. They've got to all be friends with these other athletes. And this is the breakdown in the media. This is why all these apologies from Dan Orlovsky to Kendrick Perkins, why they're all the heat that's in the kitchen, they want no parts of. Let's play Kendrick Perkins.
I'd like to issue an apology.
Ooh, yay. Oh, I'm down for that.
Seriously, to Daryl Morey, Joel Embiid, because I didn't expect this. Like, if you'd asked me this 2 months ago, I thought Joel Embiid was on the verge of, retirement, seriously. And now all of a sudden, he's come back to looking like an all-NBA caliber player. And we know that he's going to get buckets far as what he do on the perimeter because he's one of the most skilled bigs to ever play the damn game of basketball. But it's the lift. He's dunking the ball now. We saw him catch an alley. Like, he's playing above the rim, and he's playing with force.
Look, obviously, it's kind of a lighthearted apology or whatever, but Kendrick Perkins was ripping him for good reason for 2 years, and there's no reason to apologize. If anything, Kendrick can say, hey, I'd like to take credit for Joel Embiid playing some inspired ball this year. It looks like my criticism worked.
Yeah, Yeah, but Ross, I mean, didn't he basically help win him the MVP over Jokic? I thought to me that was kind of like a retraction, which is fine. We've all been wrong, and I think it takes a big man to say, look, I was wrong, I flubbed, or to make a factual correction. I think we should always do that if we're wrong factually. Here's the thing that I want to tie this into. Inside the NBA, remember that show, Jason? Used to be pretty good. I don't know what happened to it. It used to be hot. I don't know. Kind of flew over the Bermuda Triangle. Hasn't been seen from that often, right? The beauty of that show is, and maybe its ultimate downfall, it was honest and it was brutal. And Charles Barkley would say, I'm not apologizing for a damn thing. If I said it, I said it. If a guy proves me wrong, I'll go back and I'll be a big enough man to say that I was wrong. But I think that is the issue. Inside the NBA may have been simply too blunt and too honest for today's current NBA and the league. And maybe they are falling victim to this whole, well, I got to apologize because I need the access. I think that's really here the tie-in the big story.